Hi, Steve.
Morning.
Come on,
Exactly.
don't run.
And it would be
Not
safer.
yet. Not yet. Or safer.
Safer, yeah, safer.
You know what happened, everybody be over on the bridge.
Well, that's the problem, traffic and crowd control.
Come on, Doc, don't be a downer.
I'm just telling you, that's,
Shut the bridge down.
there you go.
Yeah, there.
Sorry, Warren County, you can't come. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right, looks like we're live. Light?
How's your golf game?
Just wait.
Normal, right?
It never changes.
Yeah. I think, and I have, obviously have been to the hearts, yeah, but I think it's coming.
Irrigation system water.
Good
Why have some of those been
Here,
dead?
here's, I'll tell you what happened when I'll be here next week, because I was on the Greens Committee for like, St. John. What happens is the Zoysia is dormant in the winter,
Oh, yeah.
and we've been getting spring. So, but there was an
Well, this meeting ought to take at least 5 minutes.
I'm all right with that.
5 minutes? Really? I don't have 5 minutes.
Last couple days.
Thank you for the calendar.
It is greened out.
Yes,
And because what's happened is getting
yeah, yeah, very nice.
not putting too much water on the fairway.
Morning.
And then cracks one. I think that probably next week that they're gonna to 90 degrees.
All right, cameras on at 7:30. You guys ready? Should we wait for, Kevin's here. We'll wait for Kevin.
Probably ought to wait. He's gonna be the one who has the most to say. Say he's in the,
What knows what's going on?
yeah.
Rich can get better today. I'm all for him if he can do it. But yeah, I
Yes, he embellishes, he embellishes everything that we've already read.
where somebody drives like, yeah, because somebody's gotta drive the car. And so,
Okay, can we start now?
We can start, because it's officially 7:28. That clock's fast.
Oh, it is?
all
Oh,
right,
okay.
let's roll.
I thought maybe
But
it
it's
quit because the
7:30,
electric
start
went out. Like to call this meeting of the City of Washington Board of Public Works to order Tuesday, June 27th, 7:30 a.m. Roll call, please.
John Vietmeyer.
Here.
Brad Mitchell.
Here.
Mike Radetech.
Here,
Steve Richardson.
Here.
Mike Coulter.
here.
Chad Graves.
I'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Steve Struber. I know, but I just wanted to let you know Steve's here.
Steve is here.
Steve is,
Morning, Steve.
good morning, Steve, you're here.
Morning, Steve.
Are you here mentally?
I don't know about that.
All right, with that, any changes, comments on the minutes?
No.
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second? Motion and a second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes approved, thank you. A question I always hate to ask, but are there any priority items that have come up?
No, there's not.
Yay,
Moving right along.
yay. Well, watching the news and all the water breaks in the metropolitan St. Louis area, you never know. Wastewater, in situ farm pay request, we have a bill for $125,197.46.
Yes, this is a partial payment for the partial part that they have done. We're in a situation that's typical of everything that we see all over the place. They had a problem in the material, just like all the rest of us are doing, and they are now having a labor situation.
Oh,
Lack of labor to come to get everything done. So we're on the schedule to finalize the rest of it, but now we're in kind of a
Slow down?
slow down just to try and get everything reorganized. Met with them yesterday, and that's what the representative told us, was that we're in the queue, but right now they're, just like everybody else, short on labor and everything else, so.
Okay.
But still moving forward. It's just doing good. We just gotta-
Moving forward's the main thing. 1 month, or it's not gonna make a
Yeah.
difference or whatever.
No, we'll be done by the end of
Long-term
budget year,
project.
so we won't have to worry about doing any juggling there, so.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping it's done by the end of next month, but no guarantees on that, but we're shooting for it, so.
So moved to pay. Second.
Moved and seconded to pay in situ form 125, 197 and 46 cents. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Send that on to the council for payment. Anything else in wastewater to mention, or are we good?
No, actually, we're doing good. All of our lift stations are, well, besides one, all of our lift stations are doing pretty good, and the besides one is our lift station out off of Rabbit Trail. That one there, we're taking in an excessive amount of hand wipes. Again, we're pulling that pump, well, we're pulling them pumps like about 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a week, depending on what the situation is. They're plugging up. It's actually getting to a point where it's met its capacity to carry the load. But the good thing is that there's always a good thing. The good thing is that there is a plan in place, and the project is moving forward to take that lift station out of service and make it feeded gravity to our existing gravity line on Rabbit Trail. So down a little bit further. So that will alleviate that issue. It'll just send it down to the treatment.
Send it down to the treatment.
But
But it won't clog
problem.
anything up.
It'll just transfer it to one more spot. Down at the plant, we're lucky enough that we have bar screens that drags a lot of that out before it ever gets into the process. So the good and the bad, but it does have to go through the pumps, a lot bigger
Yeah.
pumps, a lot more aggressive pumps at the treatment plant, but it still does have to be pumped. So that's just another maintenance thing that we deal with on a daily basis with hand wipes.
Wow.
Gotta love those flushable hand wipes, everybody. All them people out there on YouTube that are watching us today, they don't break down. They do flush. They're correct on that. You can flush them down the toilet, but they don't break down, and they cause us a ton of problems. So, anyway, that's my bit on hand wipes that nobody.
A possible, of course, I know it's isolated in that one place, but I don't know if it's possible to mention that in the bill.
Yeah, I'm working on an insert that I can put in there that will be aggressive enough to shock, but yet not bad enough to offend. So, that's a trick, but I'm gonna get it accomplished. But, anyway, so.
Good.
We gotta do a little bit more than just putting in word that, oh, please don't flush them down, because they need to see what's happening. So we're getting pictures, and I gotta pick the right picture to add to this, but anyway. I guess, what do they call that, shock and awe, I guess, or whatever, but anyway. We gotta do something, but yes, it is a bad situation. Ongoing, every community has it, we're not unique, but it's bad because it's a financial drain. We've already rebuilt once and replaced the pumps at that station because of that, so.
Well, that's enough.
Replace and then rebuilt, I guess would be
Yeah.
the best way to say
Kevin, that's the only station where that's a problem, right?
it. No, that's just our most pronounced one.
Oh, okay.
All the stations take on rags. Most of the pumps are bigger and are able to chew up and launch those. They really don't tear them up. They kind of just
Tear them up.
launch them downstream. I mean,
Mutilate, there you go,
yeah.
mutilate.
When you see them, when they get down to the next station and you pull them out, they're still a hand wipe. They just look a little beat up. It's about the best way to put it. They're not destroyed, they're not dissolved, they're not broke up, they're just beat up. And then a bigger ball at the next station, so.
So are these things possibly reusable? Maybe we could clean them and sell them again. Sounds like they don't go away. Holy cow.
They don't go away, and the ironic thing is that They don't go away, and then what we do is we draw them out of either the system or out of a station or down to the treatment plant, and we put them into trash cans, and then they go out to the landfill, because what else are you gonna do with them? And then they sit out there because they don't break down in a landfill either. So,
Tell you what, tomorrow we have our meeting out there. I'll make sure it gets into the newsletter.
okay.
All
Anyway,
right.
It is an ongoing problem. I don't see an end to it. There's been lawsuits against the manufacturers, numerous lawsuits
Fines.
on the
DNA
wastewater
testing
side.
and fines.
And the defense that they always win on is that they don't say they're biodegradable, they just say they're flushable.
Yeah,
So is a bicycle chain.
A 2x4 softball, baseball, but,
That's right.
that's right.
There you go.
I say
We're gonna
DNA
step
testing.
in.
but anyway, that's,
All right.
we're done with wastewater.
Done with wastewater. Let's move on to water. We have a pay request from Understall Construction for $34,640.83, a partial on the water tank project.
Yes, this is a partial, this is for running the water line across South Point Road, over to the tank site, to get that, water on that side for the tank company to attach to. So it was all part of the project, it's just a partial for this part of the work being done, so.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve $34,640.83 to Understall Construction. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Pass that on for payment. Here it is, the Cochrane. So we have a change order 1 and change order 2 for the project with Understall.
Yes, and this pertains to this part of it. The change order 1 is for an extension in time on the contract because they had to break rock, so it took longer. So that's just a technicality to give them an extension on time. It's not affecting the project in any way, the timeline or anything. It's just part of the contract with Understall that we extended time because they ran into rock. It was all just part of the rock part of it.
Right.
So, that's change order 1. And then change order 2, unfortunately, is the increase of $2,000 to the project for the rock that they encountered.
Right.
I personally don't like change orders, but they do happen, and sometimes you can't avoid them, and rock is one of the things that you can never avoid a change order on, because when you start a project, you don't know how much rock you're actually gonna hit. You can assume that we knew there was rock there, but they didn't know how much they were gonna hit, how deep it was gonna be, how far it was gonna be, so when you start that, you just deal with rock. There's
Well,
nothing you can do about that, so.
If we have to have them, these are the easy ones for material and not
Yeah.
design and things like that.
Exactly. So that's change orders 1 and 2.
Change order 1 and 2, we're just approving them because
Yeah,
there's
it's
no
just-
money. The money's in the
No,
main
yeah,
contract,
yeah,
so
it's just
I don't know.
an approval.
I guess we can
So
approve them
moved.
just for the record.
Yeah, just for the record.
Moved and seconded? Any objection? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so we can put those in the record that we
Discussed.
We
Agree with
received
them.
them and accepted them, yes.
approve them.
And on that with the tank, mobilization for the tank started yesterday with the Caldwell tank. Now, mobilization may mean that they just gave somebody a piece of paper and said, you need to get to Washington so I haven't been out there yet to see if anybody showed up. But with that mobilization means that they are starting the project. They have to excavate and install a foundation and footings and all that for the base of the tank, so that's what they're doing first. That should take, they think 2 weeks, but who knows, it could take 3, it depends. They have to break out rock there. That is not a change order on the project. That is part of the tank project, so there shouldn't be any change order on that because that was already planned. But anyway, so once they do that, then the tank crew is expected to show up in like August 16th to actually start the tank construction. So if things go well and the weather stays great, hot doesn't hurt them. Well, I mean, it's not good for them, but they'll work through it. If it doesn't rain or anything, there's a small chance that we might get that tank completed this year. This year being before November. If the tank doesn't get constructed before November and finished and ready to paint, we will have to hold off on the painting and come back in April and paint. So we may have a tank sitting out there over the winter that's empty and just primered. And then they'll come back in April, sandblast it, reprime it, and then paint it. It's just all hinges on delivery of materials, construction, and timeline.
Okay,
So that's kind of where we're at. As it moves on, I'll give you more information, but that's where we're at, so.
further than we were 5 years ago.
That's right, that's right. So, it's a good project. It's a needed tank on that in that area. Not so much for residential, potable water. I mean, it gives an extra 1 million gallons out there. This really helps for fire protection on the east end of town. There's only 500,000 gallons of stored water on the east end of town. There's 2 million gallons of water on the west end of town. So we got a big growth of residential on the east end of town that needs that extra water. So,
Right, right.
so it's not gonna change pressure, just so everybody knows, it's not gonna change pressure out in Stonecrest. It's not gonna change pressure out in Foxtrot and all that over there. It's going to give volume, is what it's gonna give. So, no extra pressure, just more volume,
Well, with all the growth, that's a good thing.
yeah, so.
Okay.
That's the tank.
Any other business for anybody to bring up, or old business to revisit?
Oh, and yes, there is one more thing. It's actually back to wastewater. Worked with Darren yesterday. We are currently working on running a practice billing. We have to we're working with Tyler on that to get a practice billing with our wastewater increase.
Yeah,
So we'll know what the monthly income will be, and then we're gonna look at that and hopefully project to see that what kind of revenue we're gonna continue to grow to make sure that we can be self-sustainable. With that self-sustainable now, we're hitting almost 3 million gallons a day on our wastewater treatment plant. We're built to 4 million. As things keep growing and we keep taking on more stuff, that flow to the treatment plant's gonna grow. When we hit about 3.8 million-ish, the DNR is then going to highly suggest in a you will do it manner of expansion. So at some point in time, we need to start looking at the cost of expansion up to 6 million, which is what our plant is designed to be, and plan for that, so.
what would that
Kevin, yeah, do you
entail?
have
Is
any
that in-
projections on how long that would be?
We're working on that right now. I don't have any real good answers to give you on that. Hopefully I have it by next month. Because you got a lot of stuff to look at, growth and,
Yeah.
Usage and, all that stuff. And if we bring anything else on projected down the road, are we gonna bring in anything on the east end that's gonna bring more sewer in? All that has to be kind of tied together. It's almost like having a crystal ball, but, it's just something that it's gonna happen and we need to be ready for it. And the point is that we're enterprise funds, ideally and requirement-wise, we are supposed to be self-sufficient. Our revenues from sales is supposed to be able to maintain the system.
Yeah,
So we have to address that. So what we don't want to have to do is do a rate increase and then 2 years down the road, do another rate increase. We need to look at it as what we,
as an ongoing issue.
yeah, as an ongoing thing, and how is the CPI gonna be enough to get something there to do that? And so anyway, so we're moving forward. We're gonna try and get that to you guys next month for this meeting so that we can approve it, so then we can get it to council for approval. I'd like to take that to the council in August at our first meeting, our workshop meeting, so that they have time to digest it, not give it to them and say, okay, here it is, and approve it. So
Right.
I want to give them some time to look at it too. So it's a big operational necessity. This isn't a wish list increase. This is an operational increase.
Yeah.
We all know that we're going to be bumping red real quick here if we don't do something. And DNR, they don't approve of operating systems in the red. So It's just, we have to do it. We have no choice. We can't keep doing it. Material costs have gone up. They've doubled, some tripled. It's not gonna go away. Those prices of 4 years ago are gone, the prices of today. On the water side, I can give you just a perfect example, just on the water side. We ordered hydrants last year. They were right around, what, 1,500, I think, Dylan? This year, they were, what, 2,100? 2,500 for the same fire hydrants this year. That's just one item in water that's extremely noticeable, but everything's doing that. So, you know, if we don't, unfortunately, you know, we all have to absorb that, and it's in the rates, so.
Okay.
Subject none of us like, but we have to do it.
When we put that plant online initially, how many gallons were we treating?
We were treating in the beginning 1.9.
We're at 2 and we're at
Yep.
3 now?
Yeah, yeah.
How many,
So-
how many years did we get from 2 to 3?
Went from 2 to 3 in about 3 years. Roughly, ballpark. I'll have better numbers. But we ran quite a while with that, just having that 1.9, 2.1 area, and then we jumped up. So, it's not because of infiltration, that's just intermittent hits. This is a daily operational flow. So, the more industry we bring in our new ones pre-coat. We're assuming, we made an assumption on how much water they might use. We don't know how much water they're gonna use yet. It's, information's slowly coming in. That in itself, that could generate 1 million gallons a day on us. We don't know. So that's a whole, you know, when you start bringing, I love industry, don't get me wrong, but when we start bringing that in, depending on what them processes are, brings in a lot extra volume to the process, and that's what we gotta look at, is that, so I'm trying to get numbers on what their actual operation is gonna bring in. Then you gotta look at the rest of the industrial park, what comes into it. You know, I mean, at one point in time, there was a canning company looking to come into town. Canning companies use a ton of water and they discharge a ton of water, so that's the kind of things we gotta look at. What's out there possible coming down, what's our growth looking at for subdivisions? We already know, out there by, the Beaker Road South Point, there's another 120 acres. How many houses do we think, Dylan? What, 125, 130 houses at least going out there for now? We got the apartments on 100. That's, I don't even know how many for sure. It keeps kind of changing, the numbers keep changing. All of that, we've got, pardon me? 300 plus. There you go. So, you know, throw all that in there, and that's, growth is great, but
I hope that someone, you know, when the growth is occurring, and everybody likes growth, and, you know, we create jobs and we create revenue, that there is obviously some thought given to, hey, wait a minute, is that growth overall really good? You know, how much more does that cost us to grow, and do we recoup that?
Right.
You know, do you get to the point to where growth is not good? I mean, I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but I'm saying, you know, everybody wants to see growth, and we talk about growth, and we talk about the revenue created, and we talk about jobs created and having housing. That's all good, but if nobody's on the back end thinking of expanding a
what we're talking about
treatment
right now.
plant,
Well, yeah.
water facilities, I mean, I'm guessing that's some of the last part of the conversations,
That's always the last part of the conversation.
if it's in the conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we always get.
Sometimes
to
it's
this-
not even brought up until
Well, we
it's
get to
too
this,
late.
we get to this point on this board, and all of a sudden, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, and, well, we didn't plan for it, we have no money.
That's why I'm trying to start that conversation now and not,
We had these conversations when we started even looking at that plan. We were behind the 8 ball then, we didn't have the money, we didn't know what we were gonna do, rates were way behind.
and we got to the point when we started looking at building a new plant, our old plant was at max and had been running at max for a while. I don't wanna get to that point. I don't wanna be the guy that's sitting there going, well, yeah, I should have thought about that 2 years ago, or I should have thought, that's why I'm thinking about it now, is because I can see it happening, and I'm afraid it's gonna happen
Quicker than you want.
quicker than what we're even prepared for, so we gotta be looking at what's coming down the
You
road.
even have any idea what it could cost?
No, I don't. Yeah, I could look back and see what Jacob estimate or assumed it would cost, engineered, thought it would cost, but that, you'd have to probably quadruple that since, so I'd be throwing a number out there that would just be I think it's that, so. I'm going to start getting some feelers out there to see if I can get some information on that. I do know quite a few people that build wastewater plants that currently are doing them, that I think I can
Because how
pick
long
their
did,
brain and get a today's rough cost on it. But
how long did we meet and discuss and down that road before we actually got that plan?
Oh my gosh, four years,
At least 4 years.
At least 4
Yeah, At
years.
least 4 years.
I mean, if we got from 2 to 3 in
And I don't,
2 to 3 years, we'll be from.
I know it's
we'll
2
be at-
years of presentation.
We'll be at 4 probably in 2, if not sooner.
Yeah, so that's the thing, we gotta,
You guys, smart growth, which is what I personally like to call it, certainly involves sewer, but it involves roads, bridges, all of the infrastructure. It was nice when I came on board, Sandy had that established already. Let's look further than a year or 2 or even 3 or 4. Number-wise, I'd like to know too, Kevin, what it's gonna cost, how that's gonna fit into the budget, but Brad, to allay your concerns, I don't wanna grow too fast either. I don't think anybody does.
But we're growing pretty damn fast.
We are, Steve, but it's still, the numbers are right at 2 to 3% per year, and that's okay, we can handle that. It's the explosive growth that I
Right.
don't want. We don't want to become a Wentzville. My children live in Wentzville, or my grandkids live in Wentzville, and every time you go over there, there's a new grade school popping up. And worse than that is they have to, I'm trying to search the word, redo the roads, put in new roads, sewers, and all the infrastructure that's required, because they let their developers go willy-nilly, buying up all these farms and then throwing houses in there without the infrastructure. We don't wanna do that. And
No.
right now, the plan is infrastructure first. And we got a good deal with all the money coming down the pipeline. Instead of using the ARPA funds, the other one, I'm trying to remember what the name was. You remember what it was, Mike, other than, we're using those for infrastructure because they're a one-time good deal that we're getting. We're not investing it in salaries and stuff like that. So that's the plan. It's big bucks. It's almost overwhelming, but buy it off a bit at a time, going through the comprehensive plan right now, and that's all part of it. But budgeting for the future, please don't worry, keep it in the conversation all the time.
Thank you for the update, and we'll stay tuned for more
yeah,
on that. I mean,
when
it's a,
when I get the information, you guys will get it. It's finding that kind of information takes time, you know, you got, it just takes time, so. I'm not making any excuses for it, it just takes time. But I will have it, we will have it, and we'll have the information for the rate increase for you guys next month.
all right.
We're working on budget, started our budget for this upcoming year. That itself is going to be a fun
Yeah,
job.
that's just around the corner.
Numbers I get today will be totally different by the time October gets here.
Yeah,
It's- One person told me, add 25% to whatever I give you a number to.
wow. All right,
Okay, that makes it fun, budget.
any other questions?
So anyway,
Next
To
meet,
adjourn?
next meeting scheduled for July 25th. Motion to adjourn.
Amen.
Made and seconded.
Yep,
Meeting adjourned.
thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Kevin, is there room to expand at the current treatment plant?
Yeah, we have, it's actually